The world held its breath, suspended in a moment of collective anticipation. All eyes were fixed on Rome, the epicenter of a story about to unfold. The weight of tradition, the whispers of prophecy, and the hopes of billions converged. On August 3, 2025, a leak, not an official Vatican announcement, but a clandestine whisper, rocked the globe. The news spread like wildfire, igniting conversations in every corner of the earth. A renowned Italian journalist, known for his impeccable sources and fearless reporting, published a fragment of what was purported to be the Pope's spiritual testament, a document of immense significance. It was raw, personal, and urgent, carrying the weight of a soul grappling with profound questions and a church facing unprecedented challenges. The words seemed to leap off the page, imbued with an undeniable authenticity. The Pope wrote of a church at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in its long and storied history, a time demanding introspection and courageous leadership. He spoke of searching for a shepherd, not a prince, a leader who would guide with compassion and humility, not with power and privilege. The Church yearned for a true servant of God. He described a cardinal with a pastor's heart, overflowing with empathy and understanding, a scholar's mind, sharp and insightful, deeply rooted in faith and reason, and a humility that could bridge the powerful and the forgotten, a rare quality capable of uniting disparate worlds and healing deep divisions. He was a beacon of hope for the marginalized. Though unnamed in the leaked fragment, the description pointed unmistakably to Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines, a figure already admired for his progressive views and unwavering commitment to the poor. The testament felt less like a prediction and more like a sacred endorsement, a divine nudge towards a future yet to be written. It was as if the Pope was bypassing centuries of protocol, challenging the established order and igniting a firestorm of speculation within the Vatican walls and beyond. The Vatican's terse no comment, delivered with practiced diplomacy, only fueled the frenzy, adding layers of intrigue to an already explosive situation. Was it authentic? The question hung in the air. But those who knew the Pope's spirit, his deep compassion and unwavering faith, believed it without reservation. For Filipinos, this was more than just news. It was a sign, a beacon of hope illuminating their nation and their faith. Tagle embodied the Pope's vision, a living testament to the values of empathy, service, and unwavering faith. He was equally comfortable moving from theological debates in the halls of academia to Manila's slums, offering comfort and support to the city's most vulnerable with equal compassion. The leak was a spark, an unexpected catalyst that ignited a movement. It set the archipelago ablaze with hope and action, galvanizing communities and inspiring a renewed sense of purpose. The Pope had pointed the way, offering a glimpse of a possible future. The Filipino people, with their deep faith and unwavering spirit, were ready to walk it together. A new movement, fueled by faith and driven by hope, was about to begin, promising change and renewal. The news of Cardinal Tagle's potential candidacy for Pope resonated deeply within the Philippines. The nation responded instantly, a wave of emotions sweeping across the archipelago. That night, Luneta Park in Manila, a place of historical significance and national pride, transformed into a breathtaking sea of candles. What began as a small gathering quickly swelled, drawing tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of Filipinos who converged in prayer. The air crackled with fervent hope and quiet determination. Office workers still in their weekday attire, students carrying backpacks, entire families with children in tow, and the poor, who often felt forgotten, stood side by side, united not in protest or anger, but in a shared sense of hope and a collective yearning for spiritual leadership. They stood shoulder to shoulder, a testament to their unified desire. The vigils, initially concentrated in Manila, rapidly spread across the islands, carried by word of mouth and the power of social media. Cebu, Davao, Zamboanga, and countless other cities and towns joined the chorus of prayer, filling town squares, overflowing church courtyards, and spilling onto the streets. Every corner of the nation seemed to glow with candlelight. People held rosaries tightly in their hands, their lips moving in silent prayer, sang hymns that echoed through the night air, and lifted portraits of Tagle high above the crowds, their faces illuminated by the flickering candlelight. The message emblazoned on handmade signs and banners was clear and unwavering: Tagle for Pope. This was more than just national pride or a fleeting moment of unity. It was a deeply held belief, a conviction that their son, a man known for his compassion and humility, was precisely the kind of leader the Church needed in these turbulent times. The movement grew organically, fueled by genuine affection and respect for Cardinal Tagle. It was fueled by social media, connecting Filipinos across the archipelago and reaching the vast Filipino diaspora scattered across the globe. Stories of Tagle's humility, his genuine connection with the common person, eating with the poor at simple roadside eateries, choosing to ride a bicycle instead of a chauffeured car, weeping openly for the suffering and marginalized, resonated deeply with people from all walks of life. These anecdotes, shared and amplified, became powerful parables of servant leadership, illustrating his commitment to serving others before himself. International news crews, drawn by the sheer scale and emotional intensity of the gatherings, broadcast the spectacle to the world. It was a nation united in prayer, not protest, a powerful display of faith and hope in the face of uncertainty. The sea of candles, stretching as far as the eye could see, became a potent symbol of faith in action, a visual representation of the Filipino people's unwavering belief. It was a gentle light shining from Asia, carrying a message of hope and faith all the way to Rome. Filipinos weren't forcing the Spirit's hand or demanding a specific outcome. They approached the situation with humility and respect. They were simply making their hope visible, offering their prayers and aspirations to the world. The world watched, captivated, as faith illuminated the night, transforming the Philippines into a beacon of hope. The movement, fueled by faith and driven by hope, was rapidly gaining momentum and felt to many unstoppable. The movement soon gained powerful allies. The President of the Philippines, in a historic address, set aside politics to endorse Tagle as a gift to the world. The Catholic Bishops' Conference echoed this, praising Tagle's wisdom and calling for a national novena. Celebrities and sports icons joined in, sharing personal stories of Tagle's impact. The campaign became a cultural phenomenon, uniting rich and poor, secular and religious. For once, the nation spoke with one voice. This was no mere rally, it was a national project. The message to Rome was clear. An entire nation stood behind their shepherd. The world took notice. The Tagle movement was now a defining feature of Filipino identity. The campaign for Tagle was about more than one man. It wasn't just about elevating a single individual to a position of power. It represented something far grander, a shift in the very essence of the Catholic Church. It was about a shift in Catholicism's center of gravity, a rebalancing of power and influence within the Church, acknowledging the growing importance of regions that had long been on the periphery, the global South, Africa, a continent brimming with faith where the Catholic population is experiencing exponential growth, Asia, home to ancient cultures and burgeoning Catholic communities, a testament to the enduring appeal of the faith, Latin America, a region steeped in Catholic tradition, now grappling with new challenges and opportunities. These regions now held the majority of the world's Catholics, a demographic reality that could no longer be ignored. The sheer number of faithful in the global South demanded recognition and representation. Tagle embodied this new reality, a leader forged in the crucible of the developing world. He was shaped by poverty, vibrant faith, a deep understanding of the struggles faced by millions, and a theology forged in struggle, a commitment to justice and liberation for the marginalized. A pope from the Philippines would signal that the periphery was now the center, a powerful message of inclusion and recognition. This was about perspective, a shift in how the Church viewed the world and its role in it. It was about a leader who understood social justice, not as an abstract concept, but as a lived reality. Inequality, the vast chasm that separates the rich and the poor, a challenge that demanded urgent attention. And interreligious dialogue, building bridges of understanding and cooperation in a world increasingly divided. Tagle's work with Caritas Internationalis proved his commitment to the poor, his dedication to alleviating suffering and promoting human dignity. The idea of a pope from the South was a narrative of hope, a beacon of light for those who had long felt forgotten. It was a church ready to embrace its global identity, a tapestry woven from diverse cultures and experiences. The Filipino campaign was a call for a truly universal church, one that reflected the richness and diversity of its global flock. They weren't just advocating for Tagle. They were advocating for a new vision of the Church. They were championing a future where leadership reflected the flock, where the voices of the marginalized were finally heard. The world was watching, captivated by this unfolding drama within the Catholic Church. The Church stood at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in its history, poised to either embrace change or cling to the past. The Filipino movement became a global story. News networks broadcast the candlelit vigils, headlines shifted to the People's Choice from Manila. Cardinal Tagle's life and theology were scrutinized worldwide. The pre-conclave period, once quiet, was now a media spectacle. Every arriving cardinal faced questions about Tagle and the people's will. The movement's voice was amplified, sparking debate across continents. Theologians and commentators weighed in. Many in the global south saw their own hopes reflected in the Filipino campaign. The College of Cardinals faced unprecedented public pressure. They were bound by conscience, but the world's expectations pressed in. The Sistine Chapel became a global stage. The choice would define the Church's future. The conclave faced historic pressure. The process, designed for sacred discernment, was now under the world's gaze. Cardinals, sworn to secrecy, found themselves in a media storm. The Tagle movement set the narrative. Every discussion was colored by it. Inside, debate raged. Should popular opinion influence the election of a pope? Some cardinals saw the movement as a sign of a living church. Others feared a dangerous precedent. The conclave, they argued, must remain a sanctuary of prayer, not a popularity contest. The tension was palpable, ancient ritual clashing with modern reality. The world's voice could not be ignored. The Church was being tested as never before. As the Tagle movement peaked, traditionalists pushed back. Voices from Europe and North America warned of politicizing the papacy. Conservative cardinals and commentators argued for a guardian of orthodoxy, not a popular choice. They cautioned against yielding to public pressure, fearing it would undermine the Church's foundations. Accusations flew. The movement was a front for liberal agendas. Tagle, despite his orthodoxy, was painted as a risk. The battle lines were clear: people-powered change versus tradition and doctrinal purity. Traditionalists called for solemnity and secrecy, urging cardinals to focus on timeless qualifications. The Church's ancient structures were being fiercely defended. Amid the storm, Cardinal Tagle remained silent. He withdrew from public view, offering no comment on the movement swirling around him. His silence was one of prayerful surrender, not calculation. Images showed him in quiet chapels, kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament. He continued serving the poor, his actions speaking louder than words. Supporters saw his humility as proof of his worthiness. Detractors were disarmed. He sought no power. Tagle became a calm center in the chaos. A living "let your will be done." As the conclave neared, his silence became his strongest statement. The world waited, watching the silent shepherd. The doors of the Sistine Chapel closed. Silence fell inside, but the world outside was electric. The cardinals faced a choice: continuity or change. A traditional European pope would signal stability and the wisdom of the past. Choosing Tagle would be revolutionary, an embrace of the global south and the people's voice. It would mean a pope shaped by the poor, rooted in humility and mercy. The ballots held the weight of two futures. The world watched the chimney, waiting for white or black smoke. The decision would echo for decades, defining the Church's path. It was a crossroads: ancient wisdom or the thunderous hope of the people. The world held its breath for the answer. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.